Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the heathen, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful, but his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in this law does he meditate sunrise and sundown. Him a go day like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth fruit in his season. Him leaf never a go wither, and whatsoever him jewel shall prosper. The Lord is our shepherd, and shall not want. He maketh I lie down in the green pastures. Him leadeth I beside still water them. Him restoreth I soul. Him leadeth I in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea! Though I Rasta, I will walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I can't fear no evil, for thy rod and thy staff them comforted I and I. Unu prepared a table before I, in the presence of our enemy them. Unu anointed I head with unu oil, me cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy, I go follow I all the days of I life. Me I go dwell in the house of the Lord God, Jah, kadama away. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Kul huwa Allahu ahad, Allahu samad, lam yalid wa lam yulad, wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. Sadakallahu azim. This is the Black Pot, aka Kukushudemo, where we speak truth to power. Here we don't criticize, but if we must, it would only be on one condition: to build and not to destroy. That is why we keep saying we are in the service of God and country. Again, here we are not neutral. And we have never claimed to be. We have taken sides. The side of the truth. That is why we are affectionately called the headquarters of the truth. This is the Black Pot, aka Kukushodemo, where we speak truth to power. We are live on Facebook. We are also live on YouTube. You can also find us on TikTok, where we keep ticking and talking with the tides of patriotism. Find us also on Instagram. And also on X, we are simply called Black Empire Media. This is the Black Empire TV, and the program is called the Black Pot, aka Kukushodemo. And here we speak truth to power. And of course, my name, Black Rasta. Now, in every African home, there is a black pot. And each time this black pot sits on the fire, there is something super sumptuous cooking. Ingredients of so many different types, shapes and sizes, aromas and even flavors. Put aside all their differences and relocate into the black pot, where they are subjected to some good amount of heating. At the end of the day, they produce sumptuous food. In all its palatability for the nourishment of the family. That is what we do here. We pick up ideas from all walks of life, all and sundry, and we subject that to some serious forensic scrutiny, after which we tap out the creme de la creme of all these ideas, the best of the best, oh yes, and we use that for the development of our people, our continent, our land. This is the Black Pot, aka Kukushodemo, and here remember, we speak truth to power. Oh gosh. My brother, my sister, do me a favor. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, time now to do that. Hit on the notification button so that anytime we are on, you will be reminded to check us out. And then, most importantly, share the broadcast so many more people can be part of this. And even more important, my brother, my sister, recommend us to others. This is the headquarters of the truth, and I'm most excited to be with you. Remember, the name is simple, Black Rasta. Our numbers are scrolling on the screen. Pick up the numbers and deal with us in terms of business. You have something to advertise, we will do it best. Maybe you have some news you want us to follow up on. And we have some of you contacting us and talking to us. Trust me, we are investigating every little thing you give to us. And we are excited when you bring us the news. Remember, with this channel, we give you nothing but original stuff. Oh yes, this is the Blakk Pot, aka Kukushodemo, where we speak truth to power. And here we go. We have 3 very important stories today. Story number 1. Watch this. Dead man asked me to steal national security money. And who is speaking? KWABENA ADU-BOAHENE. KWABENA ADU-BOAHENE was born in 1981. January of 1981. My brother, my sister, at Kokomlemle, right here in Accra. He went to school in Koforidua, Pope John's. And then he found himself at the University of Science and Technology right there in Kumasi. In fact, he studied very hard because he wanted a bright future. And then he had the opportunity to travel to England, where he worked in one of the topmost architecture and engineering companies in the whole of Europe. My brother, my sister, this is KWABENA ADU-BOAHENE. In 2007, a friend of his spoke to him and told him, brilliant young man, don't waste all your brains in Europe serving the white man. Africa needs your brain most. Come home to Ghana, your motherland, and use your intellect, your knowledge to serve the nation. He agreed and came. Little did this friend know that he had imported into the country the most dangerous germs, the most dangerous virus. My brother, my sister, he came in and he got employed by the national security. He rose through the ranks, knowing all the nooks and crannies of the national security. He had stayed there for so long. At the time, his salary was 1,200 Ghana cedis. He received more money in England than what he was getting in Ghana. But he contended with the reality and stayed on, my brother, my sister, rose through the ranks. But being the sharp, criminal-minded person that he is, he took his time to learn all the corners of criminality. He stayed in there quietly, picking up all the bits and pieces. My brother, my sister, and somewhere in 2021, my brother, my sister, the NSB was founded. National Signals Bureau. All along, it was the Bureau of National Investigations. And then it became NIB. And then we had the NSB founded under the NIB. My brother, my sister, and this gentleman was given more power by the Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo government. How much power was given to him? He no longer was supposed to report to his boss at the time. And what was the name of his boss? Joshua Chireme. Joshua Chireme was an accomplished man who schooled at the University of Science and Technology, the same school I attended, same school KWABENA ADU-BOAHENE attended. And he was so interested in security and intelligence. My brother, my sister, he rose through the ranks, serving in the national security, and in the days of John Agyapong Vows in 2005. My brother, my sister, this gentleman here called Joshua Chireme was made the boss of the BNI, National Investigations Bureau. When Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo came into power, he decided to elevate this man, and with advice, they changed the name from BNI to NIB, National Intelligence Bureau. Over there, his little boy, Kwabena ADU-BOAHENE, was lurking around him, calling him yes sir, yes sir. But Kwabena ADU-BOAHENE became part of a certain clique that helped to rig, allegedly, the elections for Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to win. And it's all over in the media. Remember in the days when it was announced by the Electoral Commission that its systems had been rigged, hacked, and therefore it was difficult for results to come out. My brother, my sister, Charlotte Osei cried tears of blood when she wanted to release the results, yet she realized that her systems were hacked. It was allegedly hacked by this guy here called ADU-BOAHENE and one Anoche. We have given you the full details already. But to suffice it, let me tell you something interesting. Kwabena ADU-BOAHENE gained the trust of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and he decided to put him in his own office and give him his own portfolio. He took him out of the national security, as in the NIB, National Investigations Bureau, and gave him NSB, National Signals Bureau. This is a very sly, dirty, wicked guy. My brother, my sister, as is being told to us by security personnel, he has a way of eating into people, into your very fabric. He has an innocent face and a beautiful way of talking. Before you have realized, he has swayed you into the gates of hell. Kwabena ADU-BOAHENE, dangerous criminal. My brother, my sister, he was able to deceive Nana Akufo-Addo with his looks. And Nana Akufo-Addo believed him and made him the boss of Joshua Kyereme. How did he make him the boss? This guy here called Kwabena ADU-BOAHENE was only supposed to report no more to his boss Joshua Kyereme, but to him, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, as it was orchestrated. This man probably was not happy. I'm talking about Joshua Kyereme, but he stayed in there. In 2018, allegedly, this man here wrote a certain letter. In October of 2018, he allegedly authored a letter that was telling Kwabena ADU-BOAHENE and his outfit to open a private national security account, which they call the BNC. Oh my God. And money was supposed to be put in there for a certain special project. Listen attentively. And this guy, allegedly standing on this, opened this account and siphoned money from the national security mother account, also called BNC. This new one was called B.N.C, and all the money got into the account. And remember, according to him, the letter was supposed to have him open an account, and the money was supposed to be used for a certain special project. 4 years later, in fact, 3 years later, from 2018, 4 years after he became the boss of the national security, Joshua Kyereme, originally from the Bono Ahafo region, died during the COVID of 2021. He died. And this was the memorial service announcement. He died in the constituency of Sarah Ajuasafo, Domi area there. My brother, my sister, when he died, it was a shock to the whole nation. But COVID was killing a lot of people. So it became almost normal. Well, So many of the newspapers and news portals announced this. You can see City Newsroom here, say National Security Coordinator Joshua Cheme dies. And this was January 18, 2021. Akufo-Addo Security Coordinator Joshua Cheme dies 18 January 2021, 12:14 p.m. Almost all the newspapers in Ghana carried this. The family wept because he was still a man full of energy. Nobody heard about the account until Iyoko, under the Attorney General's office, my brother, my sister, led by this man here called Dr. Dominic Akuritinga Ayini, empowered Iyoko to go after the bad guys. And there was one bad guy amongst them who was thirsty and hungry for results. He was ready to make sure that every stone would be turned over several times in order to unearth every skeleton hidden in there. And I'm talking about the man I call Capo. His name is Raymond Archer. Several years of experience in the national security himself. He's an accomplished journalist. The youngest to have ever won a whole continental award for journalism, best journalist. This is Raymond Archer. He had his bits of corruption and also high-handedness in the country. So when he got the opportunity to lead Iyoko, he told himself, you know what? It is time to be able to write my name in gold and the name of my country in gold. He went after ADU-BOAHENE. Went in left, right, and center and realized that this was a dangerous, dirty, blood-sucking vampire of a criminal. ADU-BOAHENE. How did he do it? First and foremost, he was able to trace the account B.N.C. and realize that the account was a cloned one. He had tricked the national security, opened the account on his own and stolen at least $7 million American dollars of our money into that account. And when he was approached with the facts, better still, confronted with the facts, he started to shiver. But the criminal-minded person that he is, according to security officials, he maintained his calm. And at first, he started to give information, and then he chickened out again, having pulled a lawyer into the melee. And I'm talking about lawyer Atachia. He owns a lot of houses. The Mayfair homes, around chain homes, belong to this gentleman here. My brother, my sister, and look at some of the things that he boasts of. Kobna ADU-BOAHENE. And, of course, his wife, Angela Agyapong. Look at the property address and what they have. So much. Mayfair Estates inside La and much more. It is said that he even has buildings in Dubai. He has 2 in London and much more. One man, on his 40th anniversary, they imported strippers all the way from Florida to come and dance naked in front of him in the National Security House at Kaokudi, where the pole is still standing. The pole that they hold on and dance naked. And that night, I was told that dollars flew around like pekle during the Homo War. They built a carpet of dollar notes when those ladies came in from Florida in America to strip dance for his 40th anniversary. The cake that came out of it, we showed you photos and videos of that. They built the cake in the form of the Bible and a gun, and at the same time a car. He has a penchant for fast cars. He's the king of stolen cars in the whole of Ghana and beyond. Stole a lot of cars from North America, as we have been told, with a lot of evidence pending in court. Hallelujah. This is Kwabena ADU-BOAHENE. Now, the interesting part of today's meeting is this. Now, Kwabena ADU-BOAHENE, my brother, my sister, claims that there was a letter that was written by his boss, the boss that he became a boss over. My brother, my sister, in 2021, this guy here called Joshua Chreme, he wrote a certain letter, according to ADU-BOAHENE, in October 2018, authorizing him to open an account for a special Alpha project. But the interesting thing is, what was the Alpha project? Oh, it genders on security, so we don't want to say it. Now we go into the account and we look at where the money went. You know what ADU-BOAHENE did with the money? He gave some to his girlfriends. And we are intentionally holding the names of some of these girlfriends because investigations are still on. My brother, my sister, the money was also spread amongst cronies and his own different companies, including the Mayfair that he owns personally with his wife and some other such personal projects. ADU-BOAHENE. So he goes under the guise of, oh, national security, so we cannot disclose everything. Well, that is okay, but Iyoko decided to go into the account, my brother, my sister, and it was so shocking where this guy was sending the money to personal pockets. Sometimes he would go and take the money cash and go and blow the money on himself. Money that he claimed was supposed to be used on the nation and for the nation. Everything went into his private pocket. He built a whole mansion in Kumasi, and we've shown you videos of all these before. My brother, my sister, if this account was truly an account that was supposed to be for the nation's interest, how come all the money got into his own pockets and he blew it the way he wanted? Traveling exorbitantly, first class, business class, blowing money, sleeping in big hotels with women, and so on and so forth. This is Kwabena ADU-BOAHENE. And the whole interesting bit about this part of the story is that he was a deacon in a church, and he preached the Bible sometimes. Other times, he inspired the people with inspirational and motivational speeches, how to make it in life. Meanwhile, he himself was a dirty thief stealing from the coffers of this nation. This is Kwabena ADU-BOAHENE. Now, Kwabena ADU-BOAHENE looks like a very smart kid. Joshua Chreme is dead. He's been dead from 2021. 4 years now. Nobody can go and wake him up and ask him, did you sign this? And look at it. He went home. Did he really sign that letter? Who were the witnesses there? Are they genuine witnesses, or they were just witnesses bought by ADU-BOAHENE's ill-gotten wealth? The man is dead. Did the dead man encourage ADU-BOAHENE to use his slyness to steal from the people of Ghana? In fact, when the expose came out, his church, the Assemblies of God, led by Wingham, decided to kick him out silently because he was bringing a lot of embarrassment to the church, and also using national security shenanigans to do other dubious things like kidnapping and also prying on the privacy of the president right now, John Dramani Mahama. It was Archbishop Duncan Williams who accepted him and decided that, you know what, however bad it is, we will try and solve it. And he has been speaking with Iyoko and other people from the security forces and operations temper justice with mercy. My brother, my sister, Do you agree that this man should go free? Should we temper justice with mercy? He has stolen money according to security operatives and investigators more than anybody. And now they are spreading the word around that this nation has no case because they are good at paying people to do their bidding. Some journalists and some bloggers, my brother, my sister, might be on the payroll of this guy. At the end of the day, they are not even looking at Ghana's prosperity. They are looking at their own pocket. And therefore, they would go out and say anything that would please this guy. But Iyoko is standing firm on his two legs with the support of Dr. Dominic Akuritinga Ayeni, the Attorney General of the Republic. And that by hook or crook, this crook would go to jail. My brother, my sister, his only witness is the dead man who is in his grave. Did he intentionally cook up this thing? Now that the man is dead, he has been so fast to concoct a certain letter and bring it out and say, oh, this was the man who wrote it and signed it and ordered me to go and get it. Well, that's a beautiful story. We agree the man wrote the letter. What did the account do? What was it supposed to do and what did it do? And when the account was checked, all the 7 million and over American dollars that got into the account went to this dirty criminal. Everything. Was it a special bonus for him? Or was it supposed to be used for the so-called Alpha project? How many national security people at the time knew about the so-called Alpha project? What was it all about? Are they going to be able to collaborate this story? And the interesting thing is that there were so many people in the national security at the time, and next to none of them was privy to any Alpha project. It's the Blakk Pot, aka Kukushonemo. Things are happening in our country, my brother. There was a woman who had so much money under her bed. Her housemaid stole a lot of the money and she didn't know because the money was in abundance. And when we chased her for the money, she was still in communication with a certain dead man. And funds were being sent from the grave via Momo and so on and so forth to her. In our country, we can do magic. In this case, it looks like a dead man is hiding in his grave and encouraging a living man to steal from the people of Ghana. It's the Blakk Pot, aka Kukushonemo, and here we speak truth to power. When we return, we got more. Hey ya, Walande man, wayo, wayo,
Go on, Skipper George.
Blakk Pot, Kukushonemo.
He's a Blakk Pot, aka Kukushonemo, and here we speak truth to power. Send your comments in and remember to share the broadcast. Hit on the subscription button so you could be part of this big family. All right? Well, my name Blakk RASTA, and our numbers are scrolling on the screen. Pick up the numbers and do business with us. Story number 2. Watch this, my youth. Kennedy Agyapong vows to destroy Anas as president. Now, who is Kennedy Agyapong? He was born in Asindompim on the 16th of June in 1960. That was when Ghana had become a republic in 1960. My brother, my sister, he has suffered on the streets of Ghana, running all the way from Asindompim, all the way through the capital, Accra, selling PK on the streets, hustling on the streets. He was not interested in education. But as a young boy growing up, he was pushed by his parents to accept the fact that education is the key. So he went to Adisadel College, where he studied for his GCE level. And then he did some bits and pieces, left, right, and center. He is not a man that boasts about being an academic. Far from it. If anything at all, he would even tell you that it's not important to go to school that much. After all, there is no rich professor in Ghana. For him, it's all about cash, business. And he keeps telling me time after time when I have the privilege to meet him, Blakk, why you're too honest in tea, here. And I remember him for that. We share others no. We are crooked no more sit down, but say 4 ni 5. Wouldn't nam ho. Uka krano ties no nyina ahwe. Uhu ye me mobo. Let those who speak Akan translate that to you. That's what he tells me almost every time when he meets me. Once in a while when I see him. This is Kennedy Agyapong, 65-year-old Kennedy Agyapong. He wants to be the president of the Republic of Ghana. Prophets of the land, majority of them have already prophesied that he would be the next president after John Dramani Mahama. Nobody is actually giving him any chance. But he's gone underground, working on the grassroots. In fact, the last time I checked, he had gone all the way to the SDA church and was trying to get their votes. From the church to the mosque, every corner, he goes in there. He's a Christian. In fact, he believes in God. But he is not so much of a spiritual person. He doesn't believe in the spirits. He knows that there is God. He is not religious. And for him, church is a waste of time. This is Kennedy Agyapong. Kennedy Agyapong is a loud politician. Whenever he speaks, the nation starts to shiver. Many people see him as a loose talker. Some say he's a loose cannon. Others say he boasts too much that he has money. And when I confronted him with this, he said, but Blakk, I have the money. And I asked him, so must you boast? He said, if I don't boast, how do I glorify myself that I have worked hard? My brother, my sister, this is Kennedy Agyapong. He doesn't believe in the Bible like that. He doesn't believe in the church, but he believes that there's a supreme being. And for him, your actions will tell what you will become. So he believes in business. He had a big expose exposing a lot of pastors in courts in Ghana and prophets. Oh my God. On his TV station, on Mind TV. He was on the case of Obinim. And he exposed him and mentioned how many girlfriends he was sleeping with, including people's wives. Gold that he stole from church members. And the fact that he was not even paying electricity bills. Yet he was boasting of giving millions to his church members in dreams. And the fact that he could turn into a snake at any time. To the point, at the helm of the arrogance of this idiot, he said that he was an angel. Angel Obinim. And there was a man of God who asserted to this and said that yes, a man could be an angel. Hallelujah. My brother, my sister, this is Obinim. He also fell on the case of Prophet Nigel Gacy. And he accused him of sleeping with church members, left, right, and center, and much more, including allegedly killing the songstress, the musician, Ebony. But my brother, my sister, the man has denied it vehemently. And recently he said, I don't hate anybody in the world except one man, and that is Kennedy Agyapong. But even him has said that Kennedy Agyapong would be the next president, even though he doesn't believe in him and he hates him. My brother, my sister, he was also on the case of Prophet Bedu, and he said, this man, self-styled businessman, who was actually importing cars into the country, refusing to pay duty for the cars, and therefore the nation was running down. My brother, my sister, many other pastors and prophets came under the spotlight, and the TV station was hot. Some of these prophets and men of God, their churches were rocked. Some of the churches went down because of this expose coming from an MP at the time. And Kennedy Agyapong, a few days ago, granted an interview in which he said he will never apologize to any of these pastors and men of God that he spoke against. After all, he was speaking nothing but the truth. This is the man. Yes, I want power, but I will not go and apologize to any wrongdoer in order to get power. This is Kennedy Agyapong. Is he the next president of Ghana? Would he ever be president of the nation? But just as Prophet Nigel Gacy says there's only one man he hates in the world, and that is Kennedy Agyapong, Kennedy too has said time and again that he doesn't hate anybody in the world except one man. Who is this one man? Anas Armiyao Anas. Why? Now, Kennedy Agyapong has said time and again that Anas is not a journalist but a criminal. He has said that Anas is a land guard. He moves from one land to the other, taking over poor people's land. All in the name of journalism. He covers his face. The police are supporting him. Even his own president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, supported him. Presidents before also supported the work of Anas Armiyao Anas, including the BBC, the CNN, and even Al Jazeera, where his exposés were aired freely for the whole world to see. He had been authenticated by the world, but Kennedy Agyapong had a problem with his antics and style of journalism. And there was a time he called him a murderer. And two, he called him a ritualist, a land guard, and a criminal. Anas wasn't happy with this, so he ran to the courts. And unfortunately, for Anas Armiyao Anas in court, he had to contend with and meet with his old nemesis. What do I mean by old nemesis? I am talking about the judges that he himself actually exposed a few months before this trial. Can I go into detail? Anas turned his lenses on Ghanaian magistrates and lawyers, my brother, my sister, and he realized that a lot of these lawyers, a lot of these judges were so criminal. They could take money and free hardened criminals. The judges were so corrupt, they could even take goats and free rapists and armed robbers who were taking several people's lives. And we all saw that on video. A lot of the judges were sacked, some were transferred, and some were suspended. So he was already an enemy to a lot of these judges and members of the judiciary. My brother, my sister. So when he went standing before them, I am sure they remembered the embarrassment he brought to them. And in court, the judge who sat on the case said, Anas is not a journalist, an investigative journalist. He's rather an investigative terrorist. We all remember that. In fact, he went ahead to pronounce Anas as a murderer because his case was thrown out and Kennedy Agyapong wore the diadem on his head in glory. Before then, lawyers of Anas and Kennedy Agyapong clashed in court and fought vehemently Vituperative words were thrown left, right, and center like poison darts that pierce the skin of the state. My brother, my sister, this is Anas Armiyahu Anas, the only man Kennedy Agyapong hates in the world. Now, today is a very interesting day. Kennedy has spoken to me several times about Anas, because I have been talking about Anas and encouraging the work that he does, because I am an anti-corruption person. Anyone who is seen to fight corruption is my friend. But he called me and told me, you know what, Blakk Rasta, you are supporting the wrong man. He's a thief. If you have time, come to my house. I will play you videos that will shock you. Who Watches the Watchman was his version of exposing Anas. Now, Kennedy Agyapong had two very close friends in the NPP. And Anas made sure that the two of them were disgraced. There was a certain documentary that came out from Anas's loins called Number 12. And you know who was the main character? Kwesi Nyantakyi, the boss of Ghana soccer and sports at the time. He was disgraced flat. And from that time, he's never been able to rise, to the point that he even went trying to be an MP at Ejuso. He fell flat like a house of cards. His respect is all gone, because in the video, we saw him asking for about 12 million American dollars. He got so greedy. He didn't know Anas had trapped him. You could call that entrapment in some jurisdictions, but in our country, it's a whole different caboodle. Kwesi Nyantakyi was banned by the CAF, Confederation of African Football, and some other world football bodies. Right now, he can't ply his trade. He's gone all broke to the core. Oh my God. Kwesi Nyantakyi, a one-time powerful football lord, all of a sudden became a ball boy, catching the ball on the periphery and throwing all this back for players to play. He went dead broke. All his friends deserted him. My brother, my sister, and his family was rocked by that expose, the documentary called 12. Now, in that documentary, Number 12, Kwesi Nyantakyi talks and heralds the powers of Kennedy Agyapong and says that this is a great guy. And this great guy, Kennedy Agyapong, you need to give me some millions to go and give to him, because when he talks, Ghana listens to him. He's a businessman, so he will support your business. Of course, Anas had brought on an Arab man who he called Sheikh Atani, who wanted to do business in Ghana. And therefore, the football business was his interest. And Kwesi Nyantakyi was invited on board to come and talk business. And when he went, he got greedy and was talking about how he could get money for his personal self and cronies. He even went ahead, in fact, to insult the president of Ghana by saying that the president in Ghana was in his pocket. And for that matter, Sheikh Atani should give him the money that he had asked for, and they together will control the whole of Ghana. It was a shameful expose. And Kwesi Nyantakyi has never been able to rise from the dust of this expose. Kennedy wasn't happy. He came out several times, tried to defend this man, but it looked like Ghanaians had made up their minds already. So, the anger with which Kennedy Agyapong approached Anas's form of journalism was clear. Now, the other person, my brother, my sister, is the man we're talking about today. He's called Charles Bisu. He has a very long name. Charles Cromwell Onuawuntum, Bisu. Long name like that. Nana Benin is also in his name. Charles Onuawuntum Cromwell Nana Benin Bisu. That's his name. My brother, my sister, and as his cameras caught this man taking a bribe to make people go out there and destroy the land in the name of Galamsey. Do we all remember this guy? Do we remember him? Now let's see how Anas got this man in his corrupt ways, taking a bribe. Watch this.
He asked us to pay 3,000 Ghana cedis for mapping after he had ordered for the sticker to be fast-tracked for us with all other processes being circumvented. A sticker we should have before going to the field.
What is doing that itinerary, they're going to map it. So I'll speak to them, but tell them, give the name to them. As I said, they should add it to it, so they do their hair. And then they'll pay the 3,000 for mapping. Okay. We want 3,000 for mapping. So let him do that now, and then give it to Doc. Doc will call you, and then the mapping team will go there. And then let's change to apply. Not apply for ETA. Right. The ETA, Doc there.
Okay.
So I think Doctor is coming back. Ralph, now I tell him now. Okay. And I think it's almost through. Okay. So I'll bet she have for mapping. Mapping is 918, mapping is 1 for and which country here. Okay. Mapping is non connected. Now for instance, now for EP.
Well, this was an expose that hit the nation. And Charles Bissou was disgraced, taking bribe in the full glare of a hidden camera. And that's how Anas does his investigative journalism, by hiding cameras and getting the bad guys, according to him. He said, shame the bad guys, shame and name and shame the bad guys. My brother, my sister, Charles Bissou has never known peace from that time. The office of the special prosecutor ran after him, arrested him, and it was all over in the media. Watch this. Charles Bissou corruption trial. Court convicts second accused on his own plea. This is the story. Now the High Court has convicted Thomas Andy Owusu, who was charged together with former secretary of the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, Charles Bissou, for corruption-related offenses linked to illegal mining. He was convicted on his own plea after the court accepted a plea agreement between him and the Office of the Special Prosecutor, that's the OSP. Now the court ordered Mr. Owusu to pay a fine of 6,000 cedis and another 200,000 Ghana cedis as restitution to the state. Now, according to the plea agreement, Thomas Andy Owusu would pay a fine of 500 penalty units and restitution of 200,000 Ghana cedis to the state for bribing a public officer with 15,000 Ghana cedis. Following his conviction, the court struck out 2 additional charges: corruption of public officer and accepting bribe to influence a public officer. Dash it up. So it was all about bribe to destroy our motherland. Now the Office of the Special Prosecutor has slapped this on its website, and it is there clear. Watch this. It says the Office of the Special Prosecutor, Charles Bissou, and the case number is there. The Republic versus Charles Cromwell, Nana Benyin Onuawuntu Bissou, and 2 others. One has already been convicted. And look at it. Charles Bissou, former secretary to the now defunct Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, first accused. Now, what is this thing all about? The accused persons are before the court on charges relating to corruption and corruption-related offenses, contrary to the provisions of the Office of the Special Prosecutor Act 2017 Act 959 and the Criminal Offences Act 1960 Act 29 as amended. Mr. Bissou faces 6 counts of corruption and abuse of public office in breach of the Criminal Offences Act 1960, that's Act 29, as amended by Act 1034. He has been charged with 3 counts of corruption by a public officer under Section 239, 1 and 3 of Act 29 as amended for allegedly agreeing directly or indirectly to allow his conduct in public office to be influenced contrary to the ethical standards and obligations of his position. Mr. Mensah and Dr. Tego have been charged with abetment of corruption and the use of public office for profit in contravention of sections blah 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 of the Criminal Offences Act 1960. It is alleged that they facilitated the receipt of the funds in furtherance of the corrupt scheme. My brother, my sister, he is still under investigation, running left, right, and center. His name has been destroyed as a bad guy who went and took bribe to help people destroy the country. My brother, my sister. But today, Kennedy Agyapong decided to do his own thing. What did he do? Watch this. Kennedy Agyapong appoints Charles Bisu as campaign administrator, and it's all over the media. All media houses have published this, that this man who is standing trial and investigation, my brother, my sister, for bribery and corruption, 6 counts. Kennedy Agyapong has decided to undermine all the investigation because of one man who is at the center of it all. Anas Armiyao Anas. Anas took Kennedy Agyapong to court in America. He won the case, but the money they gave to him was peanuts. Anas has gone back to the United States to sue again because he wants Kennedy to suffer for destroying his name as a corrupt journalist. Kennedy has also vowed that he would make sure that he destroys Anas. And the obvious is here. Should Kennedy become president of Ghana, what will happen to Anas? To make it worse, one of the proteges of Anas Admiral Anas, Ahmed Swale, was gunned down in broad daylight. Months after Kennedy Agyapong threatened on live TV that this guy was a criminal and showed his photographs for everybody to see, and that anybody who saw this guy in his premises, the media house, they should visit him with harm. And if anything at all, he, Kennedy Agyapong, would pay. A few months later, he was gunned down in broad daylight. Up till now, nobody has been convicted for the murder of this man who left behind 2 wives and a number of children. He was a protege of Anas Armiyao Anas. At a point, Kennedy Agyapong said it was Anas who killed his own protege to make it look like Kennedy had killed him, because everyone had heard that he threatened Ahmed Swale. Today, my brother, my sister, the 2 bitterest enemies in our country, Kennedy Agyapong and Anas Admiral Anas, are at each other's necks. A Kennedy Agyapong presidency, would it see the end of Anas Admiral Anas? Or what do you think? But Kennedy has vowed that whatever power he has, including the power of the presidency, Anas and his investigative terrorism, as he calls it, and as the courts put it, will be destroyed. It's the Black Pot, aka Kukushonomo, where we speak truth to power. When we return, we'll be taking your messages and we'll do the last story and we are done. Hey yo! Hey! Hey yo! Hey! Wayo! Come
Go on, Skipper George.
Blakk Pot. Kuku show man.
It's the Black Pot, aka Kukushodomo, and here we speak truth to power. All right, so let's pick your minds. Make sure you send your comments in. Let them come in through Facebook and also through YouTube, so that we will bring that out here. All right? Okay. Godwin Nukpotku. Nukpotku Kujo. That's a beautiful name. Nukpotku Kujo. Nukpotku Kujo. He says, I am honored to join this live stream for the first time. You are welcome, my brother. Make sure that you subscribe and hit on the notification button so you will not miss the next ones. And also recommend us to family and friends. Although I do watch it all the time on YouTube, I only get to watch it after the live streaming. Greetings, manners and respect, me general. Black Rasta, one love. Thank you so much. Nukoku. I love that name. Nukoku. Love says, good evening, bro. Watching you live from Volta, K2 South, Aflau. Prosper. Nyedeva. Omega says, move of fire. Kwame Pinamai says, greetings, Black. Okay. More comments coming in. All right. We have Conscious Agbemenu Ahosu. He says, good evening, my guru, Black Rasta. Run things, man. Your style is different and always authentic. God bless you with no stress. Black Empire Media is here to stay. Let's keep sharing the live stream. Thank you. Samuel Kluche says, more rooms await them in Sawam. Mubarak MBK says, corruption everywhere. Oh, Ghana. Idris Usiba says, Mbiale. Hallelujah, hallelujah. $10 na wuntim tinasara. I like it. Mbiale. Hallelujah. $10 na wuntim tinasara. It means, hey, my big brother, Black Rasta, no matter where you go, hallelujah, we will follow you. We just pray for God to give us good luck. That's all. Ajanaku Tomide says, good work, my boss. One love. All right. More comments coming in. Oh, gosh. Love says, more fire, because some people will be bent tonight. Zoku Wanda says, Black Rasta, why of late you are quiet about LGBTQ? Because nothing has really come out. Yesterday we spoke about, were you here yesterday, Zoku? We spoke about Gifty Owari Mensah and LGBTQ issues came out. So you were not here yesterday, right? All right. Zion Genesis says, evening everyone. But I says, greetings, Black Rasta. Emmanuel Siame, aka Black Lion the General, is watching all the way from Ashaiman and also from Pram Pram. Okay? Okay. And of course, Matthew Akidog says, Zoku Wanda. You can also talk about it all. Most criminals in Ghana are motivational speakers. And this is Matthew Akidog talking. Mark Romeo Ofori says, Deacon Gangster. Gibrin Sisse says he should bring the money back. Oduro Gideon says, there's nothing like justice with mercy. Okay, tempering justice with mercy, right? In this, he must face the law. Okay? And Gibrin says, hey, Zokuanda. And he's laughing. Israel Abuelekpo says, thank you very much. What can you do to ensure more airtime for this program? I am always in pain when we are getting to the end of the show. Oh my God. Our dream is that we shall have a TV station, hopefully by the close of the year, so we can do more. My brother, it shall come to pass, right? Lord Zinnia, and also do business with us. Yeah, do business with us so we can make, some cash and, be able to make the outfit grow. Lord Zinnia says, Blakk all the way, Blakk all the way. Believe you. Only a few of your kind speak truth to power. Ghana would be a better place with people like you. Thank you so much, Lord Zima. More comments coming in. Kelly Blakk says, you are on time, Blakk Rasta. I paused what I am doing just to listen to you. Colleagues, like and share and broadcast, please. Procast, says procast, yes. Kelly Blakk says, no sound, please, yes. At the beginning, when our montage comes out, in fact, the thumbnail, there's no sound. It just tells you that we are on. And then when we start, you hear us, right? Now the day, Kise. I like that name. Now the day. It's a beautiful name, isn't it? Hello! Kelly Blakk says, friends, the man of the gospel truth and undiluted facts is live. Invite others to join. Yao Adobo says, good evening, my teacher. Rap Thunder says, welcome, legendary Blakk. JDSGH says, greetings, Blakk. We are live. Oyoy. Rap Thunder comes back to say, Alhamdulillah, we get 27K today. Wow. Woo! 27,000. Hey. All right. That's on Facebook. We like it. YouTube. Okay. On YouTube. Okay. Views. I am so happy to see the numbers increasing. Please share, like, comment, and don't forget to follow. God bless you, legendary. Yes, we are growing. We are growing. And I'm happy people are embracing the truth. That is the only way we can grow. It's not about me. No, I'm only a vessel. I make mistakes. It's about the nation. It's about the people. Right? Rudolph Basegeyem says, Wayo exposing criminal with innocent face. Okay. More comments coming in. All right. And we'll be reading them very, very soon. In the interim. Sorry. Number 3. Watch this. Bold Duncan Williams stands tall amongst all. That rhymes, doesn't it? Come here! You think so you day wise. Bold Duncan Williams stands tall amongst all. Who is Archbishop Duncan Williams? He is a man of God. He was born on the 12th of May, 1957. 2 months after Ghana became Ghana from out of the Gold Coast. He was born the 12th of May. In fact, 2 months, 6 days. He was born into Ghana. He missed Gold Coast by just 2 months, 6 days. He would have been a Gold Coaster. This man here, my brother, my sister, hey, was born to a man called Mr. Taiwo. He is a man who has seen it all in life, from bad through worst, all the way through to success. This man is not a little man. There was a time, my brother, my sister, he drank alcohol. He smoked ntampe. According to him, he smoked a lot of ntampe and drank alcohol In his own words, he went to bed and he had a candle standing on his table. He was so high, so euphoric, so hallucinative that he stretched his hand on top of the candle flames and he didn't feel any pain. He started to smell the scent of fresh human meat being roasted under the candle flame. He smiled and said, I don't feel no pain. It bent the whole of his fingers. It was later he was rushed to the hospital, and when the power of the drugs that he said he used went out, he realized that he had lost his fingers. Probably that was to show him as a testimony what he would become later, so he could use this to preach to the world about the life that he had led. He had gone through occultism. His father took him all the way to a certain garden and he heard trees talking. He told us this himself. He's gone through all the controversies. In fact, he was raised by a Nigerian archbishop, Archbishop Benson Idahosa. Oh, Jesus. This was the man responsible for Dangote's wealth, we were told. It was said that there was a day he was going on a flight and the flight was full. Those days when people could overbook on professional behavior. But he had to go and preach somewhere in Nigeria. This happened. And when Dangote saw him, he decided to leave his seat for this man to sit there and go for the emergency preaching. And when he left the plane, this man raised his hand and prayed that you shall die counting money. Whatever business trip you are going for, you will sit down and money will chase you. From that time, find me the photo of Dangote. My brother, my sister, Dangote has been rich to the core. Many have said that it didn't really happen. And others said it happened. I haven't heard Dangote himself tell this story again. Dangote is a Muslim from the Hausa Fulani side of Nigeria, but he gave so much respect to a Christian minister, left the plane and allowed this man of God to come in and sit down. At a point, he was the richest man in Africa and around the world. He was counted as one of the richest. He is still in those echelons. Dangote. Archbishop Benson Idahosa, it was said, raised a number of dead people. Anytime he preached, miracles happened. He was the one who raised Archbishop Duncan Williams. In fact, in one of his sermons, he even mentions Archbishop Duncan Williams, that when he first came to Nigeria, he was so timid and scared to even talk. But he raised him, groomed him, and he became big. And when this man became big, he felt he had arrived and decided that he didn't want to deal with Benson Idahosa anymore. He had his own church. According to the Archbishop again, his church started going down and he ran back to his father. After his father had sent emissaries to him to invite him to come over to Nigeria for a conversation, he told the emissaries to go back to Nigeria and tell Benson Idahosa, say, he, Archbishop Duncan Williams, was not coming. His chest started to go down and he knew where he had gone wrong. He ran back to Nigeria, fell flat on his belly and cried, oh Father, here I come like the prodigal son. Please don't pay me. Put me out there and feed me with the food that you feed your pigs. he said, he embraced him and said, "You devil, this is a family issue. Depart and go behind me, Satan. This is between me and my son." And the church started to grow again. It's an inspirational story. But as an archbishop, he fell somewhere along the line. And this is the story we have for you today. We played a tape, and in that tape, he talked about how he went to Burj Khalifa. Burj Khalifa. Right there in Dubai, the tallest building in the world. Hotel. He and his wife. This was after 2010. Because this place was opened in 2010. And he had been drinking alcohol, wine, and his wife, Whitaker, had been talking to him so many times. Don't do this. The youth are watching you. Don't do that. Don't do that. But in his own words, he loved the feeling of the wine. It made him feel lame. Let's check that tape one more time. And when we return, we will hit the nail on the head.
Traveling, and Rosa would say to me, "You are an archbishop. This is not good for you. You are not being a good example. All things are lawful, but all things are not expedient." I said, "Baby, leave me alone. It makes me feel good when I take the wine. Yeah, and then when I have the wine and then I call for the different first course and second course and the dessert, by the time I finish having the wine, I feel yeah." And she kept saying, "This is not good for you, man of God. You are not being a good example to your kids and to the youth and to the young generation." And I said, "I don't see anything wrong about having wine." And the thing had me. And every now and then I'll try to get loose and I couldn't get free. Then one day we went to Dubai, to the tallest hotel in the world. And we climbed up there and I had some wine. And when I had that wine that day, I started seeing men like trees walking. And I was feeling some way. And Rosa said, "Are you okay?" I said, "Babe, I don't know what's going on. I'm seeing you like trees, baby. I don't see you well." And she didn't say a word. And I knew what was going on. The wine was working on me. And now we had to come down from that top hotel down to the lobby. And my knees were shaking. And I kept on seeing men like trees. And I was feeling dizzy and feeling some way. And I said, "Lord, if you deliver me from this, that will be it. I won't touch it anymore." Are you hearing me? Say, "I hear you." As soon as I prayed that prayer, it was like something broke over me. And I started seeing men as men. And I went through that lift. When I got to the ground floor, I said, "In the name of Jesus, wine, you are a spirit. Whatever is in you, you have no power over me anymore." Are you hearing me? And from that time, I can see wine and I have power over wine. I can control it. It doesn't have me anymore. It doesn't control me anymore.
Oh my God. Today I had a response from the Archbishop Duncan Williams. 68-year-old Archbishop Duncan Williams. He had watched this and seen what we had done a couple of days ago. And he said, "Blakk Rasta, I don't drink anymore. From that day, I was delivered after I prayed. And it's over. Wine has no power over me anymore. It's gone." Wow. I was so elated that the Archbishop would take time off his busy schedule and sit down and watch the Blakk pot. I saluted him. And he was excited that I was interested in his church activities. And of course, I had an invitation to come to the church when I have time. He has the Dominion University. He has one of the biggest churches in Africa. He has raised many. Now, the excitement about this is how many men of God at their prime, not when they are declining, at their prime, will come out and say that I used to do this. He used to drink. People saw him drinking. He didn't see anything wrong with it. After all, Jesus Christ in Canaan at a marriage made sure there was alcohol for everybody to enjoy. My brother, my sister, Archbishop Duncan Williams, a man his status and stature, it will be difficult to come out and say that, yes, I was this weak. Even when his wife spoke to him, he said no. How many people see him as only next to God? A lot of men of God in Africa are demigods. They are holier than thou, holier than the Pope. That is why when they make mistakes, people don't forgive them. But this man descended to the level of telling everybody that this was what I used to do. He didn't need to tell us. But maybe he had heard the rumors. Because if I tell you the quarters, diplomatic quarters, where I got this information from, it will shock you. But he had already talked about it. So it almost became irrelevant. If all men of God would descend their high horses and come to the level of the people, do not chastise the people when they are wrong, as if they are sinners for life, and they are the only holy people who hear the voice of God, I think we'll have a better religious environment. With all the success, with all the money, I'm sure somebody sitting somewhere asking me, what is his achievement? Apart from the Dominion University, he has Dominion TV, which is spreading the gospel. He has, my brother, my sister, in 2012, he became the father of an American televangelist, Paula White. How many of us know Paula White? She's today called Paula White Kane. That's her. We see her on TV. GTV those days, she was coming. 2012, she decided to come under the umbrella of no other person but Archbishop Duncan Williams. Hi! It didn't end there. A few years later, the President of America, Donald J. Trump, the wild, crazy president that everybody sees, decided to humble himself and also come under the umbrella of spiritual guidance of Archbishop Duncan Williams. He would pray for him night and day. He would go to the White House, pray for him. He made all the money. And he had all the fame. He was walking in the corridors of opulence and power. He is not a small man. He's an accomplished man. Oh yes. He's a human being. He makes mistakes. Archbishop Duncan Williams. He is known as the father of charismatism right here in Ghana and around. He is respected. My brother, my sister, and he's married to a woman who herself is opulent. Whitaker Duncan Williams. That is the woman we're talking about. His first marriage ended after about 26 years. From 1981, he got married to Francisca Osei Williams. And they have 4 children. Elsie, Ella, and 2 other people. One last person is the one who's been coming on TV and misbehaving, is on drugs. His father has gone through it before. So, he knows what is happening. maybe he also turn around. All right? And he looks so much like his father. Archbishop Duncan Williams is married to this woman now. My brother, my sister. And her name is Whitaker Duncan Williams. She was in the team of George Bush and Bill Clinton. As part of their advisors. She made so much money. But there was a controversy on this woman. I don't know if I should be saying it now or wait till another time. The president of Uganda, Yoweri Museveni, the two of them sat together, allegedly, and the president decided to bribe her 350 million, whatever it was, huge amount of money. I'm going to get the figures right. Yearly, for her to do publicity for his bad governance in Uganda. And it became a huge issue. We will go into that another time. But for now, this is just the gist. We are always researching and looking into things. It's the Blakk Pot, aka Kukushonomo, where we speak truth to power. And on this note, Archbishop Duncan Williams, apart from him, one other man of God that I have seen who has come out to tell the whole world that I am respected and everybody loves me, but I have one weakness, and that's women. It's Prophet Nigel Gaze. He was bold enough to tell everybody, I am not God. I still have problems that I'm trying to deal with. Women. And I'm sure by now, he's been able to deal with that. Now that we are not hearing any more about anything like that. Another man, in fact, Bernard Afrisa Taylor, Prophet Bernard Afrisa Taylor, apostle. He also said that on my show. Men of God are not gods. They make mistakes. And if they preach this to their congregations, their congregants, when they make mistakes, these congregants will not be hard on them like if they preached that they were demigods. It's been the Blakk Pot, aka Kukushonomo. And here we speak truth to power. My name is Blakk Rasta. Let's pick your comments and we are done for the day. All right? Send your comments in. Send them via YouTube. Let them also come via Facebook. Of course, feel free to air your minds. Just be respectful. The community loves respect. All right? All right. So Patawo says, this guy must rot in jail. I Watch World says, Anti-CC. Agyapong Vows says, good evening, Blakk Rasta. Watching you live. Woyoy, Blakk. Great Shamima Muslim, Deputy Government Communication and Honorable Chief of Staff, Julius Deborah. I Watch World says, Ken, forget. You can't destroy Anas. We will come after you. Okay? Many more comments coming in. Oh, William Azilaku says, very greedy people. I agree with you. Ebenezer Ando, he says, that's right. Najatu Haman. Najatu Haman says, William Azilaku, very greedy la. And then William Azilaku comes back to say, can you imagine? Abdul Mujib Dawat says, thieves in the helm of affairs. Ebenezer Ando says, Ghana. Manda Mugiz says, democracy in Ghana is a disease. Najatu Haman says, nice man. Oh. I know who you are saying is a nice man, but not everything that glitters is gold. Abdul Majid Dawar said, Najatu Haman, love you from Ghana. Bala Majid says, big ups yourself, teacher. William Azilaku says, very greedy people indeed. Okay? More comments. We have Godfred Dag Lomote, and he says, thank you. Godfred Dag Lomote says, please help us share the page. Please share the broadcast. Seth Amegashi says, you just said he told you you are honest. That's why you are poor. Your car, etc. As a graduate trained to be rational. Have you deduced such statement? Please don't ever try to promote him. Of course, I deduce it. I deduce it. He was only trying to tell me that no businessman is right-headed. Every businessman is corrupt. That's why I don't do business. That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying. He said, Tamegashi. So nothing is hidden. We'll leave some of these things for you to deduce. That's it. Has that changed me? I am still who I am. You get it? Najatu Aman says, love you from Togo. Okay. And then Yao Adobo says, this guy is very, very dangerous. Attorney General is too sluggish. He should jail him straight away. Raskapo says, more fire, Blakk. Kojo One Fool says, speaking truth to power as always. Young Jacks says, good evening, beautiful souls up here. Emmanuel Ajekum says, Blakk Rasta, please. I thought you said Duncan Williams is part. Part of what? Part of what? ADU-BOAHENE, of course. We mentioned he's now attending ADU-BOAHENE's church. I beg your pardon, ADU-BOAHENE is now attending Duncan Williams' church and is part of those begging for ADU-BOAHENE. We said it on this show times and again, and we said it again today, right? Emmanuel Ajokum says, good evening, Godfather. Frederick Banson says, I really like you, Blakk. I like you too, right? And what Sadat Larry says, Salam alaikum, Blakk Rasta. Preach to us the gospel of politics and haram people in haram people in Ghana. Okay. Haram people. Okay. And then Seth Abegashi says, Blakk, don't hype the man. He's just ordinary. MPP is full of hypocrites. That's his followers. What out of the 5, he's the least amongst them. Okay. So for me, he's better than Bawumia. I don't like people who lie. You can say anything about Kennedy, but lie. Lie. And it's a democracy. You like who you like. When it comes to their primaries, I don't like their party. But if it comes to Bawumia and this guy, I'll go for Kennedy. I've said it time and again. Tanimu Ismail Napari says, Peter Doji says, good evening, Blakk. I am so happy and at the same time concerned about how you want us to flush out criminals from our system. My worry is how you would want Ghana to have Kennedy as president when he is on record to have defended criminals and defended Akufo-Addo and his administration in the Galamsey issue. Where have I said I want Kennedy to be president? Peter, have I said that before? I've said it on this show several times, and left to me alone. The MPP should be in opposition for 7 trillion years. Were you part of this show, Peter? I have never said that Kennedy should be president. No, never said that. I don't do that. I don't tell you who should be your president. I don't do politics. Nah. Anyway, more comments coming in. All right. We have Ahmed A. Boaziza. And he says, thunder, fire, ADU-BOAHENE, fire. Anthony Dakunforsen says, Ghana became a republic on July 1st, 1960, after Kennedy was, oh, yes. You are right. Okay, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. That's why I said that the same year Ghana became a republic. But you are smart. He's been able to pick it up. After I said it, I said, no. Okay, you know what? The same year Ghana became a republic. But this gentleman is sharp. He's been able to see it. Yeah, man, thank you so much, Anthony Dakunforsen. I like that. It's only in his dream he will be a president. A man who talks anyhow, leading a country. I feel how you feel. Alaji Bunyur Bushal Savulugu. Professor Blakk, I don't think they don't have a good leader. Which people? Okay. Rodick Atta says 2 horrible, unpatriotic criminals who deceived Nana Addo. Rudolph Basigiyem says, I believe in Kennedy than anyone in the NPP. Ansa says, good evening, my boss. Derrick Incorporation says he wouldn't be president with this kind of attitude. You. Swag Lord says, Blakk, that's not Nyantechi's video. I didn't say Nyantechi. I said Charles Bisu. Charles Bisu. Nyantechi's issue was gone. And then we started talking about Charles Bisu. Remember I told you about his long name and how he took bribe. We didn't play the number 12 video now. We were playing Charles Bisu and Galamsey. I hope you get that. Alice Messio says, you are too much Black Rasta. Hey, yeah. Kitos Brew says, it's really sad as Ghanaians. Okay? Okay, and then Poposhkosh. Fuka says, Robin Blakk, the Messiah journalist. Tompo says, how are you today, my brother Blakk? I hope all is well with you by grace. Benazu is relaxing. Said Ankra says, more fire. Suleiman Prince says, let us support with more positivities. All right? So Ghana is here. Global Harmony says, will Mahama administration be able to jail all the thieves before they go out of power? Even if they are not able to do that, I pray they do. Whoever comes up next must continue and jail them. Unfortunately, if power goes to the other side, all the criminals from one side are freed. Unfortunately. Kofi Sosovi. No. Kofi Sosuvi says, Sosuvi, okay, it's Sosuvi. Kofi Sosuvi, small Sosu. Kofi Sosuvi says, good evening, Black Rasta. Thanks for the truth that you keep speaking. Enemies of the state would fade soon. Ken Colley says fire and thumbs up. And Yaovi Ali says, good evening, Professor. I'm watching you from afar. And he says, Black Rasta, you are a legend. Thank you. Rodick Atta says, 2 horrible, unpatriotic criminals who deceived Nana Addo. Okay? And then, Nipa Emmanuel says, I just love Black Rasta. Kwabena Amponsa says, more fire. Ebenezer Youngson Jr. says, more fire. Shakuru Alidu says, Black Rasta, I have loved your show since my SHS days. Salute. Gamli Jidefu says, good evening, Blakk. Omega James says, just like watching you more. Just like watching you more. And I like presenting myself before you. Abdul Rahman Shaku says, we like the work you are doing, Black Rasta. Isaac Mensah says, watching from Wembley. Mark Appam Jr. says, from Canada. Mark Appam Ayimbona is my name. Okay. I really love your show. Keep the fire burning. But do a lot on the Galamsey. We just did a Galamsey story. We'll do more. Wahab Mohammed says, more fire. God bless you. Asuma Mohammed says, good work, Blakk Mohammed from Bupe Central. That's Gonja, Savannah. Okay. More comments coming in. Prince Kwame Anan says, Black Rasta, why should Edu's case travel beyond 2 months? The lawyers are dragging their feet and all that. Isaac Mensah says, Station Zoy. Osman Abukari says, good job. May God bless you. May Allah bless you. Hope Chifuaka. What a name. I love this. Black Rasta says, Black Rasta, more grease to your elbows. And then Evans D. Sejro says, honestly, with the track record of Ken, I don't think Ken will be considered a president of Ghana. He should rather focus on his business. That's a fair comment. More comments coming in. Oh gosh. Awe Basido Douglas says, God forbid Kennedy becomes president. He will be richer than Ghana. herself. 2, nobody can criticize him, and anyone who does any something will join his ancestors. Okay, we shall see. Ghanaians will rise. We have gone beyond dictatorship now in this country. That's why we all are able to speak like this. Nobody can take us back. Najatu Hana Haman says, love you from Togo. Dalla Idi says, I'm honored to join this live stream for the first time. Much love, Blakk. Atipo GD says, keep on the good work. Watching you from the United States of America. Thank you so much. Of course, more comments in. Balamaji says, Blakk, I sometimes wonder what we see in Kennedy, but we all know such an emotional person can never be trusted. You can't give a gun to a person whose heart is in his palm. Speaking in parables. I understand. We all have our faults and our mistakes. It is for the voter. I have made it clear. When it comes to a liar and somebody who is angry, I'll go for the angry person. Naziru Sando says, move fire. Evans D. Sejro says, enjoying this channel. Thank you so much. Recommend us to many more people, family and friends. Abdul Mujib Dawat says, thieves at the helm of affairs. Fuseni Zakaria Charga says, Blakk Rasta, please, my name is Fuseni. We want you to make investigations about Dagbong and VRA. The overlord of Dagbong has asked Energy Minister to change him. But what happened? Okay, we'll look into it. Gibrin Sise says, people don't know Ken is also the problem. Ken is also the problem for Mother Ghana. Okay. That's a fair comment. Seth Ankra says, more fire. Mr. Hardy Dolizel says, sick men. You call yourselves men of God. William Azilaku says, very funny. Tompo says, nice damage control for Bishop. Okay, Archbishop Duncan Williams. Well, I mean, he says, I don't drink anymore. And people around me have seen that I don't drink. Do your own investigations and see. So we talk about the drinking. Let's talk about his achievements as well. You understand? It's not always that he has to go the other way. You agree? You know how we do it here. Okay. I like that. Tompo is, you know. Lillian Akosua Bedi Aku says, so Dr. Baumia and Akufu Addo didn't see or hear anything about these criminals in their wasteful 8 years of governance, best of the same feathers. It's a question for the gods. And at this point, we want to say thank you so much. We appreciate you and we love you. Yes, keep spreading the message. This is the channel of truth. All right? The headquarters of the truth. We love you and we appreciate you. We'll catch you again tomorrow, same time, 6 p.m. We love you. We appreciate you. My name is Blakk Rasta. Hey ya! Hey yo! Whoa yo!